to the Marketing Pulpit Show, and I am Robert Gatewood, your host. We are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good of marketing gospel. We're not saving souls, we're saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. Now, if I happen to save a soul along the way, don't hold that against me. We'll just call that icing on the cake. Now, the mission at Marketing Pulpit Show is to build strong businesses in our community so that we can put our people to work. And we do that with business development, job creation, and service. So if you ever find yourself in a business crossroads and not sure which way to turn, just turn on the Marketing Pulpit Show because we're on a mission. The show is broadcast live from the illustrious Radio 1.
But thank you again for tuning in. I'm Robert Gatewood. I'm a business developer by trade. I have a company called Gatewood Marketing and Web. I'm also an adjunct professor at Prince George's Community College, where I teach digital marketing, social media strategies, marketing strategies, PR, networking. And so this is part of my mission. I'm also an author. I have 3 books written. And I thank everybody for tuning in today. I see Brother Attorney Bradley Thomas. Glad to see you, Brother Thomas. I see Brother Gerald Brown, one of the greatest plumbers in town. We're in Black Business Month. And it was founded in 2000. It was started in 2004 by Frederick Johnson and John Templeton with a goal of supporting Black businesses, addressing challenges, and encouraging economic empowerment. So we are in Black Business Month, and let's add a little backdrop behind it, because we have some challenges going on right now. And we're going to dedicate this show. We're going to focus this show on Black women, because we have these statistics. A recent statistic that came out that said 300,000 Black women have exited the workforce in the last 3 months. And much of it was involuntary. It was not by their own volition. So we're going to look at this problem, this challenge. It seems to be an attack because Black women have been such a foundational underpinning of the Black success story. So it's no surprise that they've been targeted. So we still have this economic disparities in our community. We have like household income about $78,000 a year for white families versus $46,000 for Black families. And even though we have 3 million Black businesses in this country, and we have 13% of the population, only 2% of those businesses have hiring capacity. So we have an 11% gap that needs to be filled, which brings more attention to the fact we should have a Black Business Month. Now, the bright part of this is the success rate of Black women-owned businesses. There's a 20% growth rate, which kind of explains why they have been targeted. But we also have other things like financial disparities, where it's harder to get access to capital if you're a Black business. And when you do get business, you're paying more for that business, for that capital. So, do a quick news story. And we're going to get into our topic today of, has there been a backlash against Black women and their success? Have they found themselves in the crosshairs of a system, the same system that destroyed other neighborhoods like Rosewood, Wilmington, Tulsa? A little news story. Target named a new CEO. They're in a slump right now. Depends on where you get your news. Some news articles, some news stations, they don't even mention the boycott. But Target has been the target of a boycott, no pun intended. The chief operating officer stepped down. It comes amid the first three quarters they've had an operating loss. Their shares on the stock market have dropped as high as 10%. And what precipitated this, in my opinion, and the opinion of many others, is that in January, Target rolled back its DEI program, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that sparked a backlash, which included boycotts. And many people say, well, why didn't you boycott Walmart and Amazon? Well, let me tell you, as a marketer, I understand. There's an old saying, when you try to sell to everybody, you sell to nobody. And the same thing can be applied to boycotting. You try to boycott everybody, you're going to boycott nobody. So I do give the organizers credit for laser focusing on one company at a time, because you have to eat somewhere. You can't stop eating. You have to get your food, clothing, cars, medicine from somebody. So I give them Reverend Jamal Bryant, who has been designated as the leader. He, like many others, said it was a betrayal. The Black community had embraced Target as a partner. After George Floyd's murder, they committed $2 billion to invest in Black businesses. So they were like, we invited them to the picnic. Call them Tarjay. Tarjay, man, you see a bunch of women and men standing around after picking up the kids. Let's go over to Tarjay. Back to school clothes, eat lunch, do your holiday shopping. So it was a betrayal and unnecessary. Target was not reading the room. And that commitment, that $2 billion commitment, was coming due in December. So when they jumped on the anti-DEI wagon, they also canceled the $2 billion commitment. Ouch. So, Target, you didn't read the room. Amazon, Walmart, take notice. These things don't happen in a vacuum. Now, let's talk about our marketing sermon for the day. Let's talk about these 300,000 women, Black women, that have been, I'm going to say, pushed out of the workforce. Now, some left voluntarily. They had a good government job and they felt the heat. They were like, I'm not going to hang around here. I see the writing on the wall. So they took their severance and they left. But it's no coincidence that Black women have been targeted. Many of these cuts have come from government jobs, the public sector, downsizing. But it not only hurts Black women, it hurts the Black family. It hurts Black men. It hurts Black children. There is a trickle down. It hurts the U.S. economy. It affects things like your schools, because your property taxes are based on your schools supplies, and resources are based on property taxes, and property taxes, of course, based on where you live, how much you spend for your homes and things like that. So there's a ripple effect. In long-term unemployment, there has been a 513,000 Black women have not returned to the workforce since the pandemic. And they're experiencing about a 10% unemployment rate, which is much higher than the national average. These recent job cuts in the Department of Education, Health, Labor, Defense have disproportionately affected Black women. These public sector jobs have been a big key employment factor for the middle class stability of the Black family. Then we have these DEI rollbacks. DEI related job postings have dropped 43% in the last couple of years in both government and private sector. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about an attack. We're talking about a frontal assault, a backlash to the success of Black women. And I'm here today to provide some support, to ring the bell, and let you know there's something that we can do about it, which I'll go into shortly. Then we have this rollback, this cancellation of the student loan forgiveness program. Once again, many of the Black women who achieved degrees, advanced degrees, received loans. There were programs put in place to forgive some of those loans. Those have been rolled back. Then we have AI and job automation, which once again compounds, exacerbates the problem. Black women are much more likely to lose their jobs to automation and AI. They're only 3% of the tech workforce and about 21% of the jobs that will be lost to automation. Man, these guys, they checked all the boxes. They're coming with everything they have. But there's the broader consequences of this. Food insecurities, family instability, lack of resources to schools, consumer spending. This is not just affecting Black women. So what are we going to do about it? You just can't sit around and kumbaya and pray about it. I mean, that probably doesn't hurt. But you have to take some action. So let's look at some areas where we can take some concrete, tangible steps to offset this frontal assault. They're not coding it. They're not hiding it. Matter of fact, they're gloating in it. So if you're a business owner and you're a Black woman or anybody this is just good general business advice. During these times, in this economy, let's do some of these quick things that we can do with very little effort. And if you're a business owner, you might want to do these as a general rule. Number one is prioritize your critical projects. Look at the projects, the income streams that have the highest ROI, return on investment. The little fluffy stuff, projects that's going to take 5 to 10 years to materialize, you might keep them going, but you got to focus right now on getting your bank up and maintaining. You want to reduce your overhead. Eliminate any unnecessary expenses at this time. But you can do it in a way that you're not compromising your core qualities. This is also a good time to renegotiate vendor contracts and use these times as leverage, because these landlords and vendors, they're not dumb. They like to keep you in there. You've been paying your rent on time. They want to keep you as a tenant. But you can leverage. You can get more favorable terms. Get a smaller space. They go from that 5-year contract down to a 3-year. Be able to lower the rent. And some of these suppliers, your supply chain, look at those. Now, also I'm going to say, let's look at the community. How are you engaging in the community? And how are you networking? I am a big proponent of networking. It's in my DNA. I'm a serial networker. So much so I created a course at the college called Networking Works, where I'm a professor. I've started several networking groups the first Fridays that we have in the DC area. So if you are in these times, Black women and others, either form networks or join networks, local groups that focus on business upheaval, business survival. These networks provide resources, mentorships, collaborative opportunities, and they work. Put a star beside that one. And let's get out to some of these trade shows, some of these vendor fairs, and rub shoulders and elbows with movers and shakers. Make some new connections. If you're facing unemployment, if you've already been laid off or taken your severance, let's get started. Let's get busy. Because sometimes it takes a while for some of these things to materialize and to turn into action. So you got to start. Make it part of your routine. And access to capital has been a problem for business owners in general, Black business owners in particular. So you got to start looking at some alternative funding sources. Because these traditional banks, man, they're just not lending. And when they do lend, they're doing it unequally. There's unequal probabilities that you might get a loan. Now, it's not an absolute impossibility. We're talking about not confusing exceptions and norms. Look at things like credit unions and community development financial institutions and alternative lendings like crowdsourcing funding and things like that. Some are actually even tailored for Black businesses. Also work on your financial literacy. Help develop or join in the effort to make us as a community more financially literate. There's workshops out here. There's lessons on how to apply for loans, how to manage business finances. Let's become more financially literate. And then let's look at the policy advocacy. We don't have to take it. You have representation, your local congressperson, your mayors, your governors. Get their ear. Sometimes you get them through networking or through some type of somebody who knows somebody. Advocate for things like the restoration or maintaining of DEI. Don't let that's not a foregone conclusion. Don't let people confuse you into believing that that's a bad thing that is gone forever. It's not. There's still companies that are very much behind the DEI program. You have companies like Costco who never really abdicated that program. Some have just renamed it, just not to have a target on their back, no pun intended. But you can be an advocate to let these companies know that we support you. Join organizations that focus on fair lending practices and making sure that lending is equitable. And also get into some type of business and skill development mentality. There are community programs at the community colleges that focus on entrepreneurship, marketing, and business management. Well, I know that. You're hearing it from the horse's mouth. Matter of fact, I was in a faculty meeting last night with the people over at the Prince George's College in the DC area. And we talked about some of the challenges that some people are facing and how we have to be better able to read the room. But yes, I do teach entrepreneurial courses, marketing, business management. If you're in the DC area, they actually offer a digital marketing certificate program. Now they're being able to offer a badge program. Once again, you're hearing it from the horse's mouth. I actually am one of the authors of that program, that curriculum. And people are lining up. Matter of fact, this summer we had about 8 young people in their teens and early 20s that I'm proud to have graduated from the program. So I'm feeling like our young people, we're going to be in good hands with our young people if we can just steer them right. They're getting the knowledge. They're waking up. Thank you to the parents for helping them realize the importance of understanding digital technology and automation and artificial intelligence. So as a Black woman, and during this time, if you're part of that 300,000 people who have left the workforce, or if you're still in the workforce, or if you're a business owner, continue. Education is an ongoing process. Mentorship programs, working with other successful entrepreneurs, all of that helps. And then marketing and visibility. If you have social media, use it rather than letting it use you. Use sound digital marketing strategies. Get on platforms like LinkedIn and look at organizations and individuals and let people know. Put a nice resume out there, a nice bio. Showcase your skills and highlight that value proposition, that unique selling position, what makes you separate, different from everyone else. These are steps you can take in light of this assault on Black women during this Black Business Month of all months. Once again, collaboration with other business owners. If you're a business owner or if you're a consultant, partner, cross-promote, pool resources, buying power, creating economies of scale. Engage with corporations that are still in the game, that are still partners, willing to be partners. Like I said, like Costco, applying for grants, seeking supplier diversity initiatives. There are things you can do. I'm giving you a long list. You may have to go back and watch this program, back it up, rewind it. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be on Facebook. So you want to get this information and you want to share it. And let's talk about support systems and resources. Establish accountability groups where business owners can meet on a regular basis and share successes and opportunities and challenges and hold each other accountable for progress. I was talking to a young man yesterday, Mr. Andre Smith. We were talking about that very thing, how important it is for companies to come together and work together. He's a great business owner, very smart young man. And so he and I both agree that because we both have been networking for a long time, so we know it's important to get together and network. And leverage this technology and innovation. Technology has an amazing way of leveling the playing field. Enhancing your efficiency, creativity, customer engagement, managing costs. Don't run from it. Embrace it. And last but not least, before I get out of here, mental health. This stuff is hard. It can cause you anxiety, frustration, stress, and stress kills. So I'm going to throw in this element. I'm going to put on my counselor and therapist hat for a minute. Lord knows I have enough hats. Yep, but I get certified in all of them. Thank goodness. I want you to prioritize your mental health. A Harvard study showed that people who are optimistic, particularly if you're a leader, you have 23% productivity advantage compared to those with pessimistic leadership and outlooks. So in other words, you got your mind plays a big role in how we come out of this storm. So prioritize your mental health. You might start each day with some type of routine where you focus on your opportunities and strengths and downplay some of the negative, kind of channel out the negative energy. Don't overlook it. And review your daily goals and priorities and see if they tie in to your strategic plan. And visualize successful outcomes. It's like, yes, I can do this. I'm going to be successful. You can do that every day. And then weekly, you want to make sure you're engaging in a systematic, goal-oriented mindset. You want to identify your progress, your wins, your successes, no matter how small. So those small successes and small wins compound like interest. And this will help combat that negativity bias and boost your morale. Look at challenges and reframe them as opportunities. Now, this is something I learned as a business developer. So look at these wins, small, you put them together, you compound them, and it's going to help us get through these tough times. And as we reframe these challenges, look at them as opportunities. That's just good advice in general. You don't do things because they're easy. You do them because they're hard. Because when you do that, you raise the barrier to entry. If it's easy, everybody's going to do it. So look at challenges. You see challenges out here in the workplace, in these organizations, in business opportunities. Look at those challenges as opportunities. And if you have some difficulties in the current frame, connect them to your long-term vision. Make sure these short-term struggles don't cloud your long-term vision. And last, for your mental health, get the support you need from the community. There are people out here, like myself and others, who sincerely and genuinely want to see you succeed. Connect with people. Reach out. There are people having similar challenges. There is strength in numbers. So let's pool these resources, these great minds. You don't want to feel isolated. The last thing you want to do is go into a corner and wallow in your difficulties. No, let's go ahead and find other people and talk. Pool our resources, our mental strength. Let's continue to build this community. And know that this show, the Marketing Pulpit Show, with Robert Gatewood, we support you, Black women, during this time. We understand that you are under attack. We understand your importance to our community. And it's almost like a little selfishness, because if you succeed, we succeed. We cannot do it without you. So I appreciate you. And I encourage everybody out here under the sound of my voice. Support Black women, support Black businesses, not at the expense of anybody else. Yeah, continue to support everybody who's doing the right thing, regardless of your gender or color. But at this time, during this Black Business Month, I would like to focus, because I feel right now Black women are under attack. And we're just not going to lay down and let it happen. I'm not. I ask you to join me. Thank you for my loyal followers and listeners, people like Attorney Bradley Thomas, who has his own show that's worth a listen. He comes on Thursdays at noon. Mr. Gerald Brown, one of the greatest plumbers in town. Thank to our sponsor, Ms. Bernadette Clay and BLE Executive Suites. We have the First Friday networking event that happens on the first Friday of every month. It'll be on September 5th this month. As a matter of fact, Ms. Clay is going to be giving us some tax tips. So if you're in this group that I've been talking about for the last hour, the Black women, Black entrepreneurs, Black workers, people who've been displaced, you have a home at our networking event. I'm actually one of the facilitators. 9701 Apollo Drive in Largo, Maryland. Come on out. Let us give you a big collective hug. Let you know you're not in this alone. Ms. Clay is a mentor. She is a business coach. So she and I have put together this networking event with people like you in mind. So come on out. Let's fill this room up and let you know that you are not alone. But in the meantime, let's go out here and support a Black business. Let's go out here and particularly support our Black women. And let's do what I always say. If you want to be successful, you have to do these three things. Do the right thing. Do it at the right time. Do it at the right place. And you must do it right. Enough of all this talk. Let's get to work.